want to start off by asking Prosenjit sir, there's a certain charm beyond the scope of the style, of course the look, that Srikanth Roy carries with himself, the way he conducts himself. There's a certain musicality in the way even he lifts when he lifts a vinyl record or he holds a wine glass or a whiskey glass. Was music one of your tools to kind of get into the space of this character of Srikanth Roy?
Oh, of course, not only music. I mean, anything related with this world, cinema. I think everything was very important for Srikanth Roy because he believes in something which is, he himself is an actor, director, producer basically. So producer is not that only who is putting money.
Yeah.
He's also with the, with the entire thing. So I think anything related with cinema, this man has to have that. And music, of course, is something which had helped me.
Okay. And Aditi ma'am, for this character, there's a certain difference of time since it's a period drama. Things used to happen differently. If I have to quote an example, if today there's a file transfer that can happen over Google Drive or WeTransfer, back in those days there was physical transfer of the reels or the prints. Did this time shock to go back in time, did it come in the way of you getting into your character, or did it enhance your performance conversely?
Whoa. First of all, I loved your earlier question.
Yeah,
it was beautiful.
Thank
It
you.
was
What a
so
start. What a start.
Musicality of performance.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So beautiful. Did it come in the? Okay, I don't know whether it came in the way or not in the way because I can't judge that. He can.
Yes.
And the audience can. But I would say that there is an unknowing, a natural unknowing in when you're working in another era, and I think the challenge is to make it real and to make, but honestly, about the body language, the things that are around you which might not seem natural to you, whatever, they add a sense of because there's that chahat to make it your own, so that happens. There is an excitement to do it like that, but at the end of the day whatever it is that you're wearing or whatever the things around you or whatever your home is which is different from your current home, or as you say, there's no laptop in front of you, etc., at the end of the day it's really about making those emotions real. Whether you do that in another era or you do that today, it's about having a connection and making that real. So I think that's the thing that really makes me excited, whatever the material is. And then for the rest, there is Vikram sir, and I think that's what makes it, for me, the most important thing to work with a director who can put you in that alien space, but make it so exciting and hopefully natural and effortless for you to be able to do it. Hopefully.
And Apar bhai, there's one sequence, I think it's the second or first episode, wherein Binod Babu and Jay, they are traveling together in the train. And there's a very peculiar laugh that Binod Babu has. I think it's the only time. It's the only time, I guess, that he laughs so wholeheartedly in the entire series.
Wow. Okay. First of all, आपके पहला, दूसरा, तीसरा सारे के सारे question बहुत सक्षम है. Thank you so much for doing all the right things. Okay. Are you Bengali by any chance?
No.
Okay. मैं sorry, मतलब मैं थोड़ा सा इस मामले में जजी हूँ. मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि Bengalis normally consume the creative juices a lot more. लेकिन आपने जो पकड़ा है बहुत ही कमाल चीजें पकड़ी हैं तीनों में ही. नहीं यार ऐसा कर. I'm sorry for being little not politically correct here.
Ethnocentric biases times 10,000.
I will give you a proper analogy and examples of that later. But आपने जो बात बोली है वो सर ने बहुत specifically बोली थी. Apar, I want your laughter here. And I was very shocked because he did not want me as a Aparshakti anywhere in 10 episodes. This is the only thing which he wanted to take from me as a Aparshakti कि मुझे ये वहाँ पर चाहिए. And आपने वो बात I mean,
it's in the script. There's moments where we have where Binod laughs, and there's actually the line there is all throat, no heart. There's that big moments.
Yeah.
So I remember he asked me, क्या करूँ यहाँ पे?
How did you correct that? That's what my
So yeah, I mean, it's amazing that this is the 10th, conversation we are having about Jubilee. and this is the first time this has come up. And वही इन्होंने पहले क्वेश्चन की बात करी, दूसरे की तीसरे में भी टचवुड सर आपने बिल्कुल करेक्ट चीजों पकड़ी है. वो विक्रम
स्टैंडर्डाइज कर दिया.
I know.
Too good. Amazing.
What's the next question?
अगला सवाल.
Yeah,
अगला
your
सवाल
questions are only too good. We are very interested in your questions.
No pressure sir. No pressure sir. No pressure.
मुझे स्ट्रेस होना चाहिए.
It's the pinny.
It's a
Yeah.
pinny. Sir, keep supporting sir. Mama, I love you. Yes sir, please go.
So I was just wanting to know, how did you arrive at that particular love? Was there some references?
मैंने सिखाया.
मैंने जो कुछ सीखा है अदिति राव हैदरी से सीखा. नहीं, ओके, तो सर मेंशन दिस, यू नो, वर्कशॉप के टाइम पे जिक्र हुआ. वो ये बोल रहा हूँ कि वो जो लाफ्टर है वो कहीं ना कहीं इकलौती ऐसी चीज है जो हाफ मतलब मेरी हंसी है वो रियल लाइफ में. वो सर का आइडिया था कि मुझे यही चाहिए. वर्कशॉप के टाइम पे हम कोई और हंसी मजाक कर रहे होंगे, जिस टाइम पे मैं ऐसा हंसा होऊंगा. सो यू लाइक अ पार्ट, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट देयर. सो और वही आपने जैसे आपने क्वेश्चन पूछा, मी एंड सर वर लुकिंग एट ईच अदर. ओह वो ही पिक्ड अप द लाफ्टर. सो या आई मीन वो सर का आइडिया था, हंसी मेरी थी.
All throat, no heart.
जी जी जी.
All through.
And Vikram sir, मेरा प्रोफेशन मुझे इस बात की इजाज़त नहीं देता कि मैं किसी का फ़ैन बन सकूँ, बट आई मीन लुकिंग एट योर फिल्मोग्राफी, माय गॉड, आई मीन देयर इज उड़ान, लुटेरा, AK versus AK, so much of depth in a filmography. Now, every artist has a certain style of working or has a certain voice. A Michelangelo can't be a Picasso overnight, and vice versa. What is the reason behind, or what is the secret behind such diverse filmography? How do you break patterns constantly as a creator and as a storyteller?
So I think there's two answers to this, and I don't know which of them is actually the true answer. Right? In the sense that one is that I feel I'm still kind of finding myself as a filmmaker. Like I love all genres, and therefore it's not like I like a specific kind of like. I love action films. I love the indie film as well. I love love stories as well. Something genre bending like AK versus AK, I like that also. Sacred Games as well. So there's all that sort of stuff. I mean, I genuinely love all genres. Therefore, I love making all genres. Therefore, I'm constantly like, who am I really as a filmmaker? I think there is that. I think growing up as a Bachchan fan and as a Hollywood action fan, you ask me like Back to the Future and Die Hard and Terminator 2 are my favorite films. Those are my go-to movies always. The big scale action epic would be the kind of film that I would love to make and watch the most. बनाने का मौका तो मिलता नहीं है यहाँ पे. I think that there is that. So one is that. I think one is just trying to find myself through all genres. But I do think it's just comes from also a sense of like when you making a movie or making a series or making something like that is always it's a very very high intensive effort that's put in from a creator side. You're working on the story, you're then shooting, you're post-producing, you're out of it. Getting in, getting out, it's almost like falling into a deep love story with something and then sort of like, and then you have to step out of it. And it hurts. It really hurts. Like when you finish shooting something, when you finish releasing something, that kind of stuff, there's a genuine sort of like distance that you have to end up creating between yourself and something that you've loved. And I think what tends to happen, at least with me, is that once you've done that, it's almost like isko bhool jao thode time ke liye and kind of move on to something else. It's almost like a relationship in that sort of way. And I think that's why I think the affinity to go into a different genre immediately sort of is more attractive, because you're like, I don't want to do another love story right now. Let's try and do something else. Let's go into a different kind of space. And so it's a bit of both. That's why I'm constantly jumping these things, because I think there is that desire to tell new stories and to sort of like have new relationships. But at the same time, I'm also trying to try and figure out like who am I as a filmmaker.
So basically, swimming in the sea of unknown is what helps.
Correct. Which is fun also.
Yeah. What would be that one quality of your character that you would like to keep as a souvenir for the rest of your life?
You wish.
But bad. Huh? Bad. That's strong.
हाँ जी, क्या सुनने लेकर जा रही है?
Why don't you all answer
आपने एक
this
चीज नोटिस की है,
question?
वो सबको बाकी सबको नाम
Everybody's
से बोल
telling
रहे हैं,
me
आपका अदिति मैम
revenge.
बोल रहे हैं.
Aditi ma'am. Or you do like this.
Senior, what's up, senior?
Sure. No, I genuinely, for me, the fun is between action and cut. I don't think like I go home with any mistake, because I I learned this when I was learning dance, and I've been dancing since I was 5. And there's a very beautiful I don't know what to call it, couplet called Dwa Suparna, which is to be the observer and the partaker in life, and it's really important to be able to be both. So you put yourself outside of it and then you play it, but you also have to make it believable. I mean, like, so I learned, like, I kind of possibly, when I was little and I was seeing that, it didn't make any sense to me. But like being like now, because you keep playing it and then I hear people talking about this thing of, you know, it impacting them so much that they go home with it, and I always feel like, am I doing something wrong? Because I really, the moment cut is called, I could be crying in a shot, and the moment it's cut, I'm feeding somebody murku or jumping around or whatever, and I'm like, is there something wrong with me? But I don't know, so I don't think Sumitra Kumari, I don't know what I would take of her, but what I admire about her is in the time that she was, in this show, that she had so much agency and she had so much passion, and what I love about her is that she might not have taken the correct path, but she fought for what she believed in till the end, and I love that gutsy this thing, and the fact that she was okay to be vulnerable for it.
Yeah. And for my final question, I mean, it's an open to all question, and I would like to invite as much inputs as it could be possible. There's a line or a sentence in the 4th episode, I believe, wherein Srikanth Roy is told by the Soviets that, 80% of Indian population is kind of illiterate, and then that impacts their taste or their choice in cinema. Now in today's times, wherein our education level has so much improved as a society, people from our country, they are part of the global workforce, be it in US, UK, Germany. A majority of our audience section still loves to watch massy entertainers in theatre. So is the notion that the education is wired to cinema taste kind of not true, and does the economy and the standard of living of people in our country at large, does it impact the taste and choice in cinema? It's an open door question.
Wow, that's
Sorry, what impacts the taste and choice of
the education and the awareness of people,
the economy and the standard of living of people.
Sir, आप ले रहे हैं क्या?
आप कोविड के बाद जो हुआ था, people not going to cinemas, it's a big example, जिस तरह से लोगों की, I mean, COVID impacted everyone's business and financial health.
But mentally also, entertainment wise also, I think people suddenly are more aware to thankfully honest scripts and honest performances and honest everything. Because I think everyone was sitting at home and they had access to...
They've been watching
They
OTT
finally got time to watch what's happening in the world. And I think
definitely कि कहाँ theatres और कितनी films, regional films, even national level पे, people didn't want to spend money on films, वो फिर extra खर्चा था. मतलब it's not normally ज़्यादा audience क्या है हमारी family audience. That means at least 4 जन तो होंगे ना, और सबके tickets, and then वहाँ जाके popcorn and cold drink and all of that. Definitely, I think.
To your point, I think films have around the world as well, but especially in India also, they have been a way of reaching the masses with a mass message. You want to simplify a message down to a mass message, and that's one of the easiest ways to do it, is to be able to sort of like do it through the movies. In the recent time, that's also expanded from movies to social media to television to now WhatsApp and a lot of our apps that we end up using, which is why you'll find a lot of, whether it's in the US through war films that are used as propaganda, or whether it's propaganda in general, and which is why one of the things that we talk about in Jubilee is about the use of propaganda to be able to spread a message. The subtle message of a mass hero, being, is he capitalist or is he so in this case, is he on the American or the Russian side? I think there is that. There has been a way of being able to spread a mass message. Now, sometimes in our recent past, that message has been negative. There's been negativity associated with the entire hero ko dekho yaar, heroine ke piche ja raha hai. आज ना बोल रहे उसका मतलब कल हाँ बोल देगी. Which we start to believe after a point. And that I blame the cinemas. You can't. A lot of us try to defend the movies saying नहीं यार उतना नहीं होता लेकिन होता है. The fact that when you're putting those messages out, people start to believe that this is sort of like true in real life. कि आज ना मतलब कल हाँ. Also, and I think so that responsibility I do believe lies with filmmakers to sort of like do that. Now, so there, one is that is true. The flip side also is that does our education level affect our movies? I don't think that's completely true. Yes, there is a message saying that you choose the government that you want. I think there's a lot of that sort of stuff that's said. But I also believe that it's in the hands of the filmmakers to be able to make the films for the masses. I don't believe that one has to constantly say नहीं यार गरीब लोग है या अनपढ़ लोग हैं तो उनको समझ में नहीं आएगा. I don't believe. I personally believe that it's our responsibility to be able to say something positive, to be able to make the audience kind of grow. It's exactly what Shrikant Roy says not in the episode you've seen, but in later episode. Ke cinema can bring people. It can teach them about music. It can teach them about life and about photography and about the art and make them grow. It can change people. I think we have the responsibility to some degree. I think it becomes a bit of a lazy response to say नहीं यार गरीब लोग तो ऐसे picture देख. And sometimes it is true, but there's a lot of times when it's not. We see a lot of movies that do come out. A lot of our landmark movies, whether even from Pathan of late, which is a fairly from a message perspective, it's not a very massy kind of thing. There's a lot of nuance in a lot of the messaging in Pathan, or whether it's in the Lage Rao Munna Bhai, for example. There's a lot of that which you can very easily say, "Arey yaar, इनको समझ में नहीं आएगा, मत करो." But when you do it smartly, when you do it with a sense that with responsibility, I think it works.
And I'm tempted to ask one more question, sir, to you, Aparshakti, and of course you have. It's said that stage is an actor's medium, theatre. Films are a director's medium. To whom does the OTT belong? Is it the actors, the directors, or the writers?
So far in this country, writers and also the audience, I would say, उनको बहुत suddenly पिछले 2 साल में जो एक I think options मिली हैं और जो चीज़ें मिली हैं जिस तरह के वो देखना चाहते थे, I think दोनों please हो रहे हैं. And I think these are the 2 complete winners जो होने भी चाहिए in real life. I think that's वो एक तरीके से victory है, I think writers की और audience की. So yeah, I think definitely
writers and creativity. It's like जा सिमरन जा जी ले अपनी जिंदगी. live out your dreams, live out all your creativity, and then we all get fun times.
And this is not to sound politically correct and sound a little cool and all. I think the kind of people attached to this series, चाहे वो इस समय मंच पे है या नहीं है, I think all of us would like to believe कि हम कहीं ना कहीं उस माइंडसेट से आते हैं जहाँ शायद हम चाहते हैं कि पहले राइटर का नाम लिखा जाए, उसके बाद एक्टर्स का नाम आ जाए. हम कहीं ना कहीं सभी उसी एक अपनी तरफ से प्योर फीलिंग के साथ आते हैं. वो टच वर्ड, आई थिंक OTT will do that.
Right. OTT में the director is actually third. It's writers and it's actors and then the directors. Once your writing is strong, I think there's a lot that, and it always happens. I mean, this is something that I discovered while doing Sacred Games, where there was and suddenly I was talking to an actor, and suddenly we're discussing episode 6 in that moment, and suddenly when you're briefing the person, you're like, wow, you've got so many layers to chew on. तुम्हारे साथ ये भी हो चुका है, ये भी हो चुका है, ये भी हो चुका है. You know what I mean? There's so much to go on for an actor that it's lovely from a writing perspective. You can write layer after layer after layer, but from an acting perspective as well, you're just coming with so much baggage into a scene that it's fantastic for actors to be able to really chew on.
But let's be real, writer, director,
and
many people, editor, then actors.
I think ये हमें
all HODs then actors.
ये हमें norm
really?
change करना पड़ेगा if we really
Genuinely.
want to succeed.
Come on.
But
That's
I
true.
think in return, OTT is also taking everyone beyond the horizon and giving us that bigger reach globally in so many ways. So true. Yeah.
एक वैसे quick thought ये भी है कि that, I mean, as much as we want to celebrate OTT because we're sitting on that platform, releasing a show on that platform, but we also need to be very careful about the fact that इतना ज़्यादा हम उसको overuse नहीं कर लें, उसको हम उसकी sanctity maintain करके रखें. एक दशक था जब TV आया था and people used to say, oh my God, we're not going to watch films anymore. क्योंकि हमें अच्छा content TV पे नज़र आ रहा है और films तो eventually आ ही जाएंगी TV पे. But we did थोड़ा करप्ट ज़रूर हुए हम टेलीविजन में। अभी भी अच्छी चीज़ें बन रही हैं, अभी भी वहाँ बहुत अच्छे एक्टर्स एक्ट्रेसेस हैं, लेकिन हम कहीं ना कहीं मीडियोक्रिटी के साथ भी डील कर रहे हैं वहाँ पर। आई वुड ओनली होप एंड प्रे दैट वी डोंट डू दिस टू OTT। जितनी हम उसको उसकी सैंक्टिटी जितनी मेंटेन करके रख पाएंगे उतना ही अच्छा है।
And one last question to sir. I've been trying to incite a response from you. But
Yeah, please tell me.
So, does working in the medium of OTT, it's kind of liberating for a superstar of your stature, if I may say so?
I don't see any difference between this cinema, television, and OTT. Any platform, if you
No,
are
the
with
the
right
functionality,
team,
the way
with
of
right
working,
director,
perhaps.
I think whether you are a superstar, I don't know. I have a dialogue. Star banna hai, actor mat bano. I don't believe all. Honestly speaking, I don't believe in all. Because, in fact, Vikram knows I had done television also. It really doesn't matter. Whatever you're doing in the right way, with the right team, with the right director, with the right role. And finally, we have to see that whether I am satisfied or not. And I am fully satisfied doing Srikanth. With the team, with the director, with the writer team, you have seen it. So like, today's date, I think that really doesn't matter whether you're a superstar. I mean, for me at least, I don't believe in all this. Honestly speaking.
So with that, we have reached the
Yeah,
end of
it's
this
my debut.
350th.
Time.
350.
That's too cool.
Yeah.
But brother, we need to thank you. You don't need to thank us. I think you're
Yes,
more than
we need to
thank you,
आपका
really.
follow कितना ज़्यादा था, हमें stress हो रहा था
Such
answer
nice
करते हुए.
questions.
Yeah, thank you so much.
if there's something that I may have missed asking as a question or something that you would have loved to talk
But
about,
we're in
so
awe
please.
of your question.
हाँ, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
मैं सिर्फ अपने को politically correct करना चाहूँगा थोड़ा सा, जो मैंने शुरू में बोला था कि क्या बंगाली है. If I can, अगर हमें Amazon 2 मिनट दे दे तो मैं सर मैं एक किस्सा बताना चाहता हूँ actually, अगर कोई 2 मिनट है अगर तो है ठीक है okay.
Are you trying
So,
to get your foot
yes,
out of
yes.
your mouth?
I
What will happen?
want- See, I might be politically incorrect in saying that, but मैं एक ना quick उसका एक वो बताना चाहता हूँ.
Too late.
This was दंगल को ना 2 हफ्ते हुए थे रिलीज हुए. Okay. In a span of a week's time, मैं 2 हफ्ते के बाद I landed in Kolkata at Kolkata airport and Amritsar airport. पहले कोलकाता गया IPL के लिए. वहाँ पर I was shocked through my bones. This was the only airport जहाँ पर लोगों को मेरा नाम पता था. उन्होंने कंज्यूम इतने अच्छे तरीके से किया था वो सब्जेक्ट.
This is the
And now,
reason.
no.
अब समझ में आई बात.
I'm now going back to. Sorry, I'm a very hardcore Punjabi. I love all of you, but अमृतसर पहुंचा हूँ. 2 सरदार standing. इन्हों कितने वेखे हैं ना? इन्हों कितने वेखे हैं? So this guy comes in. पाजी मैं अपने cousin को कह रहा सी कि मैं ना तोनों कितने वेखे हैं. So I was like, हाँ सर मैं अभी फिल्म करी है मैंने दंगल मैं तनु किया सी ना फिल्म च देखा पाजी नु. And he says, पाजी दंगल 1 की दंगल 2. So in the head he's thinking the bunk. In the head he's thinking the bunk. So this is the creative consumption. Sorry to say, I mean, as much see हर शहर की हर जगह की कुछ प्लस है कुछ माइनस है. You know कुछ जो है कुछ प्लस है कुछ माइनस है. तो this is the creative consumption we I mean किस तरीके की creative consumption यहाँ पर होती है और वहाँ पर होती है. That's my only difference.
Fine,
I
whatever.
love you.
But on the flip side,
We
while
love
trying to
Bengalis.
salvage that boat, will that count as a
We
friendly
love
fire?
everyone.
जी. That was
So
my
on that note,
backstory.
thank you so much for talking.
Thank
to us.
you.
It was a
Thank you
very
so much.
lovely
Thank you.
conversation.
Thank
And I
you.
wish you all the best.